Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Thank you for being patient. We are about to get started. It's going to be a phenomenal show tonight. Oh, man. Billy, you got your work cut out for you with this topic. This is one hell of a topic.
Yeah.
We're going to explain it to y'all. But get comfortable. It is Friday night, September 1st. It's officially September. Billy, your birthday is coming up, right?
Yeah, September the 4th.
Yeah, I'm the 17th.
Yeah.
Two Virgos in the building. You know
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man.
but listen, we about to get started. Get comfortable. I'm gonna get to this quick commercial. A quick clip from Holy Ghost 3, the first single with me and Cambada. We'll be back in one. What am I doing here? We'll be back. Wait, I can't find something, fam. We'll be back in 1 minute, family. 1 minute.
Started out with nothing. Now I got a whole lot of something. Breaking through the roof. Willy Wonka when he pressed the button. When I do a money ritual, all of a sudden money started coming. Then I cut the Holy Ghost. I still be rhyming even when I'm mumbling. You repeat my name 3 times. While you staring in the mirror, bottle will appear like poof. I came from out of thin air. To me the gun is like a magic wand. I make a problem disappear. I would nigga teeth out his mouth. Just to turn him to veneer. I can do magic. 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 When I open up my mouth, I can move masses. Black magic on the beat, turn it to a classic. I'ma take the money out the bank, then I'ma put it in a mattress. So the niggas got.
Hey, Billy, man, I want to thank you for allowing me and Cambada to premiere that song to the world at your awards, man. That was the first time the world. That was the first time the world heard it was on your awards, man.
Yeah, y'all killed it, man. It was amazing, man. Thank y'all for showing up. I appreciate it.
Indeed. Man, so what's up to the family out there? We getting started. Make sure you hit that like button. If you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. It's going to be an incredible show tonight. One thing I want to say, Billy, man, this has been a very, very spiritual year for me. Y'all, you and Dr. B said it in a number 7 year, GodPower, number 7 year. And it's just been a lot of breakthroughs have happened for me. And I've realized and I've tapped into a lot of things I've been waiting my whole life to tap into, and personal stuff that nobody can understand but me. And I just want to tell the family, I appreciate this channel and what I do on this channel and everybody watching. And Billy, I appreciate encountering you in this space-time continuum and doing the work that we do, man. It's a good ride, man. I'm enjoying myself. And this is like a quantum TV screen, man. And we're actors, and one day we're not gonna be here, Billy. We're gonna be back home. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, we got a job to finish down here. And it's a beautiful thing, man, when you really think about it. Beautiful thing.
For real, man. For real. We gotta literally savor every microsecond. Literally gotta savor it, because our time here is a blink of an eye, man. You said it. You hit the nail on the head, man. We gotta do our job here before we go home.
Oh yeah. No, I think I'm a little emotional. I was watching a couple of movies yesterday. I was watching Jupiter Ascending. I seen Interstellar. I was like binging on some of them big movies, them big science movies. But I heard about Jupiter. Have you ever seen it? You seen it yet?
It's a super classic, man. I've been talking about that and promoting it on Forbidden Knowledge for years, because once you watch Jupiter Ascending, it's like you're watching a documentary if you really know your ancient history.
There you go. So I'm watching it, and y'all been talking about. I forgot who was talking about it. I just know all y'all been mentioning this movie, and I finally watched it. And it was just, I got emotional. I was like, wow, man. It opened up something in my DNA. It opened up something in my DNA.
Rich, you remember when I was saying, many times, there's people that own planets.
That's what you was talking about. Right.
Come on, man.
Right. That's what you was referred to. Yeah. That's what you was referred to, man. I mean, awesome movie. If y'all haven't seen it, I would highly recommend that you see it. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Let's get started, man. Blueprint, as y'all can see behind me, I got something a little different behind me.
I
Blueprint
like
for
that.
God Power Part 2 behind me. It's awesome, man. We getting closer. We getting closer and closer, Billy. We also, before we get started, you want to make a quick announcement for everybody who has bought tickets or who plans on buying tickets. Billy, could you
Yeah.
make that announcement before we get started?
Yeah, so we had a meeting about something special that we can contribute. We got the 7 sacred prayers, which is massive. Nobody's ever done that before. But we also have something else we wanted to also give out, and that's going to be 3 incredible lucky souls from the ticket people. Whoever bought tickets to the event to watch the event live on the live stream, 3 people are going to get selected randomly to come and sit down with us in person. Us meaning Dr. B Serious, Richard Merritt, aka Black Magic 363, and myself, Billy Carson. You'll be flown out, and your meals will be covered and paid. Your transportation to the location where we're going to meet will be taken care of, and you get to sit down and talk with us and ask us questions and hang out with us for a day. At a undisclosed location. But 3 people will get that opportunity to hang out with us. We'll film some of it, not all of it. We may just showcase a little clips in here and there of you guys hanging out with us. But it's going to be there will be a powerful day for a lot of people to be able to sit down and ask us questions and just kind of vibe with us. But in order to do that, you have to have a ticket. So once you buy a ticket, you go into that lottery, so to speak, and 3 random people will be selected, and we'll cover airfare, hotel, and transportation, and the meals to come sit down and talk and vibe with us, Dr. B Serious, Black Magic 363, and Billy Carson. It's going to be an amazing day.
Indeed. So, Billy, one of the things that you are talking, one of the things that you are speaking about in the workshop is hemisync.
Yeah.
And I read I just got introduced to the whole hemisync concept about a year and a half ago.
Right.
The only person that's been on my platform that has talked about it in the past, I've heard Dr. Phil Valentine talk about it, and a brother named A.A. Rashid talked about this thing called hemisync and the CIA gateway, this gateway thing. And it's phenomenal. Wow. If y'all haven't read the papers, let me just show y'all something real quick, because this is absolute. I think everybody watching this broadcast should read these papers. Let me just show y'all something real quick. Where's this at? Put this on the screen. So, man, this was approved for release in 2003. I guess it was written in 1983, June 9th, 1983. And it was written to Commander U.S. General Operation Group Fort Meade. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's a thorough set of papers that deals with a lot of the stuff that Billy talks about. Like I said, Dr. Valentine talks about. A lot of the teachers on this channel talk about the CIA was tapping into this and using it for their benefit. The way they break it down, it like combines the Eastern sciences with the Western scientists. It's a real good breakdown, and it'll help you understand things a lot better. I just want to give a brief read on it from a website while we get started. The Gateway Experience is available on YouTube. Okay. But yeah, let me share this. Let me give you a brief read, because this is some serious stuff. All right. All right. CIA has secret program to send people in past or future by mind power. It's not. It is. This is from the Indian Times, by the way. It's a couple of websites you can go just to read up on it real quick. But they say it is no secret that the human mind is capable of doing so much. It is the human mind that took man to the moon or built the atomic bomb, among several other great scientific achievements. But researchers have been working on expanding its reach from the realms of the physical universe and pushing it beyond, transcending space and time. Recently, one of these techniques used by the CIA surfaced online after a TikToker discovered it, and has been quite a revelation for many. The CIA technique, dubbed the Gateway Experience, was essentially described as a training system to bring enhanced strength, focus, and coherence to the amplitude and frequency of brainwave output between left and right hemispheres that would alter the consciousness, pushing it outside the physical space, escaping restriction of time and space. Basically, it was seen as a way to put minds in a different state of consciousness, controlling our brain with a mode of interacting with non-physical aspects of reality. Its uses, according to the CIA report, range from converting energy to heal one's body to traveling across space and time to learn and access new information. I'm not going to read that because that's just some hey. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna end it there. Billy, like I said, when it's thorough. The report is thorough. They got a list of tapes that's thorough. I think some of the tapes online sell for like $500-$600, $1,000. I've seen it for so many different prices, but it's a technique where you're like combining the right and left hemisphere of the mind and tapping into some amazing stuff. But Billy, man, I want you to explain because you're gonna be teaching aspects of this for us to tap into as a different higher aspects of reality. What exactly would you say is the hemisync, and what do you think about the CIA and this being online and people finally tapping into this, Billy?
Well, it's a lot of incredible information, and a lot of people are starting to read up about it and trying to tap into it, but it's only surface what you're getting online. It's not really that deep. Like you said, you can buy some tapes for $500-$600. I've seen some as high as $4,000 to get, because you have to get the specific beats that go along with this. There's frequencies and harmonies that you have to also synchronize with to maximize the effect. But what we're talking about is the hemispheric synchronization. That's the actual full name. Hemisync is a short version of the name, right? But the full name is the hemispheric synchronization. And we're talking about synchronizing the left and right hemispheres of the brain. We have a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere, right? So I'm primarily left-handed, even though I use my right hand for a lot of things, but primarily my primary hand is my left hand. So when I'm utilizing my left hand, I'm accessing my right hemisphere. When I'm using my right hand, I'm accessing my left hemisphere, right? And so what this hemisync is actually doing is teaching a person how to get into a specific harmonic frequency through binaural beats and other harmonies that allow a person to synchronize both hemispheres simultaneously. And then not only that, to be able to focus a beam of concentration where outside of the brain. Now, Rich, how many times have you heard me say that our thoughts leave our skull and go out into space-time?
Yes, plenty of times.
Now there's actual scientific evidence. Well, there's been scientific evidence, but now some people who are listening to me saying this guy's just crazy making this stuff up. No. You see, we're talking about the Robert Monroe came up with this, Dr. Robert Monroe, in the 1950s. So what I'm telling you is not brand new information. It's this information that's hardly talked about and hardly known about. And it really comes out of the Monroe Institute, right? So Robert Monroe founded this institute, this research institute called the Monroe Institute, all the way back in the 1950s. And basically the CIA got wind of this work he was doing with synchronizing both hemispheres of the brain and the powers and the capabilities that came along with it. You had mentioned just a couple of them, but of course, traveling the mind outside of space and time, traveling to the future, traveling even to the past, traveling into the multiverse and accessing different timelines. And what I'll be teaching in this whole GodPower Part 2, Blueprint for GodPower Part 2, is going to be how to utilize this hemisync to travel into the multiverse when we go into the multiverse meditation that I'll be teaching. It's all tied together, and it'll be a guided multiverse meditation using what? The hemisync frequencies, which is why it works. And guess what? Before you go to the next question, who else talked about the hemisync?
There he go. There he go. There he go with that. What you talking about, though? You got to explain that, Billy. Come on, break that down, brother.
This is my book, you already know, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, which, by the way, is still a #1 bestseller on Amazon. Out of 3 million books in ancient civilization, is still #1. Number 2 is, what's the gentleman's name? I forget his name right now, but he's huge. Anyway, the point is this. In this book, both the Atlantean, a.k.a. Jehuti out of Africa, he talks about utilizing this specific technique. He doesn't call it hemisync, obviously, but when you read it, it's clearly the same exact technique that the Dr. Monroe, he probably read the Emerald Tablets and came up with the system. Thoth said he was able to travel through space and time with consciousness, utilizing
Oh,
cymatic frequencies, calling on cymatic frequencies and getting himself in tune with specific frequencies and harmonies to travel in through the gates, right? To head through the gates of Arulu and travel even into other dimensions with his mind. And through this technique, he would even travel to other planets. He said, many of the worlds I traveled and seen many of men on their worlds. And he said he actually watched civilizations rise and fall.
right.
He was traveling to the future, using this same exact technique with frequencies, which he gives you some of the frequencies in the Emerald Tablets and some of these harmonies. And he talks about utilizing that to be able to literally travel and let his mind leave his body, his physical body behind, and move on into space-time and access all kind of information. Crazy stuff.
Amazing. I never, and I've heard you say that before, and I've actually read the book, a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
I never put the two and two together. I never looked at that as hemisync and what we're talking about right now. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, he literally gives you specific instructions on how to access it in the book. And I wrote his specific instructions are still in my book.
We talked earlier. I started out talking about I seen the movie Jupiter Descending, and we talked about, we're talking about going outside of space and time, and we're talking about certain people controlling certain planets. When you go into the ancient text, since you brought up Thoth,
Yeah.
does Thoth, you mentioned individuals such as Enlil, Enki, do these individuals regard the way they regard this realm as important, and they desire control over this realm, or they want to help this realm, depending on who it is? Do they feel that same way about the astral realm? Is the astral realm that important? Do they want to control? Do they want to help? Do they interfere? Do they go into the astral realm the same way that they monitor this realm that we're living in right here?
That's a real good question. So every time I read these texts and these tablets, what I discover is these beings have some have the capability of transcending dimensions like Thoth, right?
Right.
But they never talk about going there to, like, you never hear of Enlil wanting to go there and dominate and control and everything else. It seems that in these higher dimensions, a lot of those physical desires disappear or are useless in those higher dimensions. But what you do see, which is interesting, you see higher dimensional beings coming in down to the third density, which is where we are, and always wanting to mingle and interfere with the day-to-day doings of mankind. Why that is, it just is, it's mind-boggling that a being from another dimension or a higher plane will continuously want to interfere with what mankind is doing in the third dimension. Right. And this happens over and over in ancient text. So they just keep coming. You got the Hathors out of ancient Egypt, right? Pre-dynastic Egypt, long before it was called Egypt, the land of Kemet. You have the Hathors. According to the text, they're elementals, right? And so they kind of come and phase in and out of this reality, but with an agenda always to edge mankind in specific directions, right? I don't know if you saw that movie on John Carter on Mars.
I didn't see that, no.
Okay, well, they had elementals. They copied that out of the ancient Egyptian text. Those are the Hathors, basically. You'll see what they do. They copied everything that they do. They have them edging a particular civilization in one direction or another based on whatever agenda they want to roll out and see on the planet. So it's always kind of the opposite. It's always these higher dimensional beings in some way finding a way to interact or exchange with us and create their agenda here in the third, but never anybody that we at least can tell is affecting any higher dimensions.
Very, very, very interesting. What do you think about what we're talking about now? And I know you spoke before about remote viewing. Is this sort of the same thing as remote viewing?
Oh yeah, no doubt. This literally is linked to the Stargate project, Project Stargate. So even though this is a totally different project, but this project also then spurred on Project Stargate. And Project Stargate is a remote viewing project where the CIA continued after they delved into this and realized it can be utilized to capture intel and bring credible intel back. They said, okay, we got to develop this project. So they developed the Stargate project. and Major Ed Dames, who is actually my instructor for remote viewing, directly worked for the CIA in that Project Stargate. He's actually mentioned on the dossier and all the documentation and paperwork. I've got pictures that I've taken with Major Ed Dames, because at one point he was teaching classes in different cities around the country, and I took those classes with him and was taught by him directly. Now, what's interesting is he mentioned this as well, all right? The hemisync. Back then, it's actually part of the class. And understanding was they had figured out a long time ago how powerful the human mind is. The human mind is one of the most powerful things in the entire universe, and probably even in the multiverse. And this is the biggest thing they want to keep away from us figuring out. And how they do this is drugs, you know, antidepressants. I just got off my other podcast, antidepressants, sleep medication, Adderall, narcos, you know, opiates, heroin. This is what they do. Because why? We can't let a crucial mass of the potential of the planet reach a position where they understand the true power of this, because then it's game over. And this avatar body we've been blessed with is so incredibly powerful, it literally can become the dominant force throughout the entire universe, maybe even the multiverse. And they don't want that information to get out. So they can continue to injure this. People say, why come they always poisoning us? I ordered a bottle of water, but the water got ingredients. Why is there ingredients in water? Because they don't want this to function right. We don't want us to live to our true lifespans. They don't want us to really wake up and realize the power that's already inside of us, because then it's game over.
Wow, that is something right there, man. That is truly something right there. You know, in terms of accessing information, I guess you could say outside of space-time or future events that have not occurred yet, you know, you into a lot of this stuff that the average person doesn't take the time to learn or research, like remote viewing. I remember specifically on certain instances, one time in particular, I'm not going to say exactly what, but me and you was talking about something, and we were thinking about certain numbers, and you said a number real fast like that. Like super fast. Like as soon as I finished the sentence, you know what I'm talking about. You said a number just like that.
Yeah.
And about 2 months, 3 months later, that number was accurate. I said, Billy, how the hell you knew that? I said, how the hell? Because your number was so out there to me. It was way out of my thinking apparatus. It was so far from my thought process. I'm like, why the hell did he? I remember telling my lady, like, Billy said that. And I'm like, I don't know why he said that. He came out of nowhere and said that. And I remember I was talking to you, and you were telling me about your very first thought versus you sitting on a thought or thinking for a while. There's a difference between that thought that happens in a millisecond versus you sitting for 5 minutes thinking of something. Could you talk, because I seen you've been accurate about it with this method several times, and I'm trying to learn from you, brother. I need to know these. So could you explain to us and me again, what exactly is that, Billy?
Yeah, definitely. I remember that day too, because he was kind of shocked at the number, and I was like, no, that's the number. He's like, you sound pretty confident. I said, no, I am confident. That is the number. And that's exactly what the number was 3 months later, as planned. And so, but basically, you know, one of the things you learn, the first thing you learn in remote viewing is how to clear the mind. And initially, it's really hard to do in the moment until you become well versed at it and you can become well practiced. And it's easy to drop the noise, and then you get the answer. And that first answer usually is the right one. So in remote viewing, the first thing you do is you're given a target number, right? That target identifier is linked to a location, an image, an item. You know, you don't even know what it is. It's only has a consciousness link to the number. The number itself is a random number coming from a random number generator, and the person that gave it to you linked it to something consciously from their own mind, and they've linked it to the number because they're saying that this number represents this particular thing anywhere or whatever in the world. And so now what happens is when you're given that, the first thing you do is you clear your mind and you squiggle on a piece of paper, and that squiggle is something called an idiom. And that idiom is part of your mind-hand connection and the hemisync tapping into the field. once you get into the field, the first thing that happens, and this happens like this, all of this happens like this.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind is the first thing you got to write down. You can't wait. You can't hesitate. You can't start to think, because once you start to think or question the initial thought, now you're allowing your conscious mind to come in and contaminate the actual prediction. And so a lot of people get information like this, they take it, and then all of a sudden the conscious mind comes in and starts questioning or changing or thinking or rethinking, and then all of a sudden you overthought it and it's long gone. Now you have too much input, you have too much contamination from your mind, and the subconscious has now been overridden. And so that's, I've been able to, fortunately for me, I now after years of practice, I tap into that and I can get into it pretty quickly. And I've seen a lot of things. If you notice from the beginning of my life, it was a lot of turmoil and bad luck and crazy things happening to me, identity stolen and all kind of crazy stuff happening, right? But I just kept fighting. I was just like a boxer in the ring, you know what I'm saying? Good, bloody, lips bleeding, eyes bleeding. And then eventually I got to a point where I started getting my rhythm and learning these techniques. And then you see where I was going kind of like this, still really above a lot of people in terms of where they were in life, but fighting the whole way through, a fight that the average person would have given up. But then I got to this point where I tapped into this knowledge, and you see me just go like this, straight up. And I'm still on a straight up path right now because I'm utilizing these tricks, these techniques, these teachings, these understandings. I'm putting action behind them, and I'm tapping into the field on a consistent basis. And for me right now, it's like anything I touch turns to gold. And that's the mindset that I have. But I'm utilizing these same techniques, like understanding what moves to make and what not to make, understanding where to go and where not to go, understanding who to tell this to, who not to tell that to, understanding where to invest, where not to invest, what moves to make, what moves not to make. All that's coming to me like this, and I'm acting on it. But I'm utilizing these same techniques, this hemisync, remote viewing, and all these teachings that I've been giving out. I literally practice what I preach. And the proof of it is you can see it in my life. When you come to visit me, Rich, you see what I'm preaching, you see it in my life. You see it acting on me on a daily basis.
And I think that's wonderful, man. And I just, I wish that people knew how much that, they may see us on YouTube and it looks like we're up here just talking. We are students of this thing called life, man. We really, we live, we eat, we breathe this information. Whenever I talk to Billy or Dr. B, we're exchanging information, we're learning, we're growing constantly. Like, this is some truly beautiful times that we are living in. I just wish the people didn't. I know, Billy, it's on YouTube and people look at it as if it's free or something like that. And we're taking this stuff for granted. But, our 10 generations ago, they would have done so many things just to come across this information, Billy. So it's just family, man. We are like, the fact that we're talking like this on a Friday night. Do y'all know what we're talking about? We're talking about operating outside of space and time.
Next level.
We two brothers up here at 10 at night talking about operating and maneuvering outside of space and time. I'm telling y'all, this dude has demonstrated psychic abilities to me. And there's certain methods that he's using. This is wonderful, man. I want to see all of y'all at the Blueprint for GodPower 2 workshop. I'm extremely, like I said, this year has been very special to me. And I just hope y'all can understand and realize what exactly is going on right now with humanity. Like, some very important things are going down right now. And I'm going to get to where I got to get, and I hope everybody gets to where they got to get, man. But wow, Billy, amazing times we are living in.
Oh, for real, man. It's a great time to be alive. This is one of the best times to be alive since the history of the world. And don't let anyone tell you anything otherwise. We're not living in the end of days. We're not living in the end of days, and not even close.
But now, Billy, that's a big statement. You saying this is one of the greatest times. When you say in the world, are you saying when Thoth roamed the world, and you saying in the Golden Age and Kemet and Atlantis and Lemuria? You comparing this time to that? And you still saying it's one of the greatest?
Yeah.
That's a big statement.
Why?
That's a big
I'll tell you why. Let me tell you why it's a big statement.
Please.
Okay. People, if they can see what's in my mind right now.
Yes.
Okay. We know that there's been other golden ages that existed on this planet. That's a fact. There's no way. Even the history books will tell you that. You just got to read the ancient book, about the Neeters.
Yes.
The time of the ancient Kemet people when they were here, and the lifestyle that they lived, and what they achieved and accomplished, and even further back, right, to the Sumerians and so forth and so on. But then you realize those civilizations have risen and they have fallen. And you begin to see this cycle as you continue to study and research. No matter how far back you go, you can continue to see this rise and fall of civilizations. So you notice that there is a cycle, right? In the Vedas, they call it the Yuga cycle, right? So right now we're in the Tetra Yuga, headed back towards another golden age. We're in the Silver Age, the beginning of a Silver Age.
That's
what's interesting, though. Right now we're in the beginning of a Silver Age. Right now we're in the Tetra Yuga, right? So we're 7,000-8,000 years away from the beginning of a golden age. But what's interesting, and that's a blink of an eye, literally in geological timescales, we're talking about before you can blink your eye, it's here already. And so what's interesting, though, I've read over 1,000 books, scriptures, papyruses, cylinder scrolls, ancient texts, tablets, spoke to sages all around the world. Last month, I spent 6 months in hotels on my Marriott app and traveled to 11 countries, 259 cities. That was just 1 year. Imagine all the decades I've been traveling. Yes. Think about that. Yeah. I've been everywhere. I've talked to everyone. And guess what I found out? Nowhere is it written, and nowhere has anyone told me that we have to go in this cycle. No one has ever told me that we have to fall again. And I truly believe that the work that's being done right now in this particular beginning of this cycle, as we head into the age of Aquarius in 2025, building mankind back towards a new golden age, that this is the golden age that will sustain and will fall out of this cyclical loop and will sustain a golden age and not fall again. It's nowhere written that it has to fall. This is the golden age that is going to sustain, and we're a part of helping that action happen. We're a part of what's going to happen so many generations from now. We are the pioneers, the legacy builders that are allowing this to happen on this planet, and that's why it's the greatest time to be alive.
It's a deep statement, man. With that being said, Billy, would you want to, being that we're in this place where we're beginning this age where we're gonna finally end this cyclical thing that we got going on, where we rise and fall. My question to you, Billy, is: do you want to come back to see the fruits of your labor?
Well, that's a beautiful question, because right now we're planting seeds.
Yes,
those trees are gonna grow, and we're never gonna see the shade of those trees.
We're not. Yeah.
But energetically, because energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Second law of thermodynamics. We know that our energy is already eternal, and we are already eternal beings. In some way, shape, or form, we will have some level of understanding as to what our accomplishment was and what we did here before, as our energy continues to move on and permeate the multiverse and re-originate somewhere else, or maybe even in a higher dimension, depending on how ascended we are before we pass out of this corporeal body.
Indeed. Do you think these gods that came before us, like you're talking about ending the cycle, I think they call it a cosmic year with is like every 25,000 years or something like that? It's called a cosmic year. Is that what it's called?
It's very similar to that. So the cosmic year, you're talking about the precession of the equinox.
Right. Precession. Yeah, right.
So that's the movement of the stars and constellations across the sky before they get back to their original position. We're talking about that's the cosmic year. And that's a beautiful time frame. Now, in the ancient Sumerian tablets, these particular gods ruled based on what constellation was above us at the time, right? So right now we're still in Amun-Ra's rule, aka Marduk, who's still in rule right now. He's Pisces. So when you see people riding around with those fish on the back of their car, they think it's because they're Christian. That Pisces doesn't represent Christianity. That Pisces symbol represents Amun-Ra. Amen. And so that's what now we're moving into the age of Aquarius. We're just moving into a new kingship that's coming. Remember, I told you, Jupiter ascending. People own planets.
Right.
Now, they were given ownership over the planet for specific time periods based on the precession of the equinoxes or this cosmic year that you're talking about. And some new person, and I do mean person, not a god, is going to be coming into action or coming in charge around the beginning of the age of Aquarius.
What you said, you don't want to say the person name? Is that what you just said?
Well, I'm saying it's a person, not because some people will say it's a god. I'm saying it is a person. When I say a person, I mean like a flesh and blood being, that puts its pants on one leg at a time, just like you and I. It ain't no special creator of the universe. It's a person. But these people have obtained that level of power to where they actually own planets. If you look into the records, the ancient records, you find that Venus is owned by Ishtar, right? Mercury is owned by Thoth. He owns Mercury. Jupiter is also owned by Thoth. You got Enlil owns an entire constellation called the Buddhist constellation, where Epsilon is located, where the Black Knight is sending back frequencies to Epsilon. All right, so which is my documentary talks about that and has the evidence and proof of that from NSA documents. And so I can go on and on and on. So we know that Earth was owned by Ea Enki originally, right? Who ended up somehow losing his kingship, and his brother superseded him to control the planet. But all this is in ancient tablets. All of this is in ancient records. But people own planets, star systems, solar systems, people. And so we're human beings think we're, oh man, we're the only kids on the block. No, we're the new kids on the block. We just got here. We literally just got here. The benefit we have is the way that we're designed is we are super powerful beings. And so in the myth of Adapa, it talks about the fact that human beings were created so powerful that they themselves can even supersede the Anunnaki. This is what the Anunnaki wrote about us.
Right.
So it's crazy, man.
Wow. Like I said, I'm just listening to this information, hearing you talk. I'm like, whoa. You know what I want to ask you, because you're so tapped into this knowledge, information, and one of the things you have that a lot of people don't have, Billy, is drive. And we're learning about hemisync and all these great things we'll learn about in the workshop, Blueprint for GodPower 2. What I want to ask you, brother, is do you think that the big talk of the town is everybody doing their shadow work and healing their trauma? My question to you, Billy, is do you think, for example, because you talked about post-traumatic growth before that, Dr. Amen said that you had, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that if you was to ever completely get rid of your trauma that you experienced in your childhood, at that same time of getting rid of that trauma, you will also get rid of your drive, because the trauma is directly connected to the drive. It's like they say, no pain, no gain. So the pain is connected to the gain. So if you get rid of the pain, then you get rid of the gain. So it's just getting rid of trauma thing, a trick, like a trick bag, like it. We're gonna lose our drive if we get rid of the trauma. Billy, talk to me about that.
Okay, that's a great question. So it's not that you're getting rid of the trauma, it's you're dealing with the trauma.
Dealing with it, okay.
So yeah, so there's no way to actually rid yourself of the trauma, but there's ways to address the trauma, access it, and deal with it, and come to terms with it, right? So I'll give you an example. Okay, a lot of people, the trauma is that they've done something that's hurt somebody that they love or that's close to them. They've done something that has truly hurt somebody. Or they've done something that has hurt a group of people, maybe even, right? And so the trauma that they're experiencing is the fact that they've hurt people, and their conscious is hurting and suffering, is causing them to suffer internally for that. There's no amount of begging an outside source for forgiveness that's going to actually address that trauma. You have to take a journey to inner space, and the first thing you have to do, and this is what you'll learn in dealing with trauma and doing shadow work, is you have to learn how to forgive yourself. Until you forgive yourself, nothing on the outside is going to actually fulfill that need to do the shadow work and to take that pain away that's in the core of the body. The only thing you can do is learn how to truly forgive yourself. The next step in dealing with that kind of trauma is, okay, I forgave myself. Now I have to look on what I did and have to figure out, how can I do it better the next time? How can I avoid this situation or doing this thing the next time? And so you've addressed the trauma, you've looked at it, you've faced it yourself in the mirror, you've forgiven yourself truly, and then you become a better person by learning from your past events so you can do better in the future. That's being born again. That's what being born again actually is. It has nothing to do with dousing yourself in a bucket of water, or throwing yourself underneath the ocean, or having some guy in a white robe douse you underneath the ocean. That means nothing. It does zero for you. All it does is get you wet and get some water inside your ears, give you an ear infection. Okay. What you need to do is what I just said. That's how you become born again. You'll be born again many times in one lifetime as you continue to grow and raise your level of thinking so you can look back on your previous self and see where you were.
Powerful, brother. Powerful. I want to read to the family a little bit of these papers, and you could get the papers online. And Billy's going to be doing this amazing multiverse meditation that's going to be dealing with the hemisync techniques that we have been talking about. And like I said, family, this is some advanced stuff. This is like some truly advanced stuff. Let me just read a little bit from these papers, and you can get the papers online, the CIA papers online. Just type in CIA gateway process, and you can get some of the papers online. Let me just read y'all a little bit of this real quick. The gateway experience, brain hemisphere synchronization. That's hemisync, like Billy said. Brain hemisphere synchronization and perspective. Number one, introduction. In order to describe the Monroe Institute technique for achieving altered states of consciousness, the gateway experience involving brain hemisphere synchronization or hemisync, the most effective way to begin is to briefly profile the basic mechanics which underlie operation of related methods such as hypnosis, transcendental meditation, and biofeedback. It is easiest to effectively describe what gateway is by beginning with a short description of those associated techniques that share some common aspects with the gateway experience, but which are nevertheless different. In this way, we could develop a frame of reference at the outset, which will provide useful concepts to explain and understand gateway by comparison as we proceed. So this gateway, these techniques are utilized in hypnosis, transcendental meditation. I need to do a show on that, by the way, family. I never did a show on that. That's powerful. And also the biofeedback. So it's biofeedback. What was the other one? There was another one. Transcendental meditation, Okay, yeah, those three right there: hypnosis, transcendental meditation, and biofeedback. So, like I said, I just wanted to read a little bit because these papers are online and it's real thorough. And as you can see, like it's like I forgot how many pages it is. It's 29 pages altogether. It's 29 pages altogether. But family, I highly recommend everybody watching to read these papers and really tap in. Billy, how much do you think do you think these techniques, do all the governments across the world use these, or is just the American CIA is privy to this? Or do you think Russia, India, do you think everybody's tapped into this right here, Billy?
I don't want to say everyone, and the only reason why not everyone is because of religious beliefs. Even though America bases the political system off of what they say is Christianity, it's actually false, right? I mean, when Obama got sworn in, he didn't even put his hand on the Bible. He put his hand on some other kind of book, because you don't have to put your hand on the Bible. And even though the politicians, I call them polytricksters, give you the illusion that they're religious, they really aren't. They can care less about religion. To them, that's how you reel in voters and so forth, right? So voting and politics are completely separate, even though they give you the illusion that they're actually together. Now, there are countries out there that are heavy into different belief systems. And so this particular thing may be something that they're totally going against. Like, for example, a lot of the Arabic countries in Arabia, they're not going to touch this kind of stuff. They're not going to touch. This is more like worshiping Satan to them, you see? So not all countries, but the bigger countries, Russia, America, China, a lot of the Asian countries, they vibe with this stuff. They believe in it wholeheartedly. This is really ancient knowledge that's just being rediscovered. This isn't anything new. This is being rediscovered. A lot of this stuff is talked about in ancient texts and tablets. And so now somebody saw it and said, you know what, let's go back in and see if we can go deeper into this and figure it out for ourselves on another level. And just not surface reading, but deeper, and actually do some experiments. And that's what they've been doing. And it's worked out well. I have one little section that I want to read. And by the way, Richard, we're going to give them a download of this PDF with the workshop. We'll give them a download of this during the workshop. But I want to read this one section because it's about what I talk about so many times. People have heard me talk about over the years. And I want to see that doctors and scientists and the CIA have been working on this. All right. It says the consciousness matrix The universe is composed of an interacting energy field, some at rest and some in motion. It is on its own self one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity. Oh, they're saying it's a hologram. According to the theories of Carl Pilgrim, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and David Bohm, a physicist at University of London, the human mind is also a hologram which attunes itself to the universal hologram by the medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and achieving the state in which we call consciousness. With respect to states of expanded or altered consciousness, such as gateway uses, the process operates in the following. As energy passes through the various aspects of the universal hologram and is perceived by the electrostatic fields which comprise the human mind, the holographic images being conveyed are projected upon those electrostatic fields of the mind and are perceived or understood to the extent that the electrostatic field is operating at a frequency of an amplitude that can harmonize with it. Therefore, it reads it, and the energy carrier wave pattern can be passed through it. So we're talking about what I've been talking about for so many decades, the fact that we're living in a hologram, and the fact that the mind itself is creating this hologram, right? The mind itself literally is encased in complete darkness, and it doesn't know anything that's going on out there. But the mind has friends: sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. It even has more friends than that, but that's a whole other podcast. That's the other perceptions that we don't access, but we have them. But the mind says, I don't know what's going on outside. And the mind sends its friends out to go get data. The friends go out, hearing, smelling, touch, taste, feel, and everything else, to go get data. Now, I touch this glass, but my fingers don't know that this is a glass, right? My eyes can see the glass, but my eyes don't know that there's water in the glass. All my eyes are doing is collecting pinged photons off of this object, which becomes data. My fingers are collecting electrostatic information, which becomes what? It becomes data. The data is transmitted to the brain. The brain says, thank you, my friends. Now I'll project a hologram as to what I think is going on out there. And you navigate through that matrix based on a holographic projection from your mind.
Powerful, Billy. Woo! Now, gotta ask you this, because I like to use real life examples with the knowledge, with the information, so people could really understand what we're talking about. So your brain is encased in darkness, but your brain has friends that go out there and collect data. Your eyes, your hands, it's collecting this data and it's giving it back to the brain, telling the brain what's going on out there, so your brain can produce more of that, right?
Right. Depending
on your perception. But let me show you this now, Billy. Let me show you this. So a real life example. So say, because I encountered this today, Billy, and I had to protect my brain I had to protect myself from having certain thoughts that I didn't want to get back to my brain or wherever it had to get back to. So let me show you this, Billy. So I was on Yahoo. I was about to go check my email real quick. And I seen in the middle video, pregnant black woman shot to death by police in Ohio. Man. Ohio authorities released body cam video showing police officer fatally shooting Takia Young in her car in what her family denounced as a gross misuse of power and authority. Now, what's difficult about navigating in this matrix, Billy, and being a person that's melanated is we're constantly bombarded with horror stories of people that look like us everywhere. The first thing that we think, because they look like us, that could be my girl. That could be my wife. That could be my son one day. That could be me one day. Now, all of this, I want to say, all of this data is going to your brain. Your brain's like, what's going on out there? We're looking at this. This is we see 90% of the time in the media. Now our brain is like, oh shit, nigga, it's hard out there. Whoa, it's crazy out there. So your brain's going to produce more of the thing you don't like. So it's like this loop that we're living in. We don't like this. We feed it to our brain. Our brain said, well, you're giving me this, so I'm going to produce more of it. We see more of what we don't like. Feed it to our brain. Our brain produces more of it. One more time. We see more of what we don't like. We feed it to our brain. Our brain analyzes it, pushes out a holographic image of police continuously doing this. And we like, yo, this shit won't stop. We got to get out this loop, Billy. if a melanin, and they don't even, a regular person, that's not melanated, anybody can see this and get upset or frustrated at continuously seeing this. But when somebody sees this, how do they get around not feeding this? They got something that says observe but don't absorb. How does somebody see this without observing it but not absorbing it, Billy?
Right. That's, and that's something I had to learn the hard way, because obviously forbidden knowledge, right? We have over 140 social media accounts across all platforms, and we post the most content out of anybody in this industry, in this conscious community. We post more information daily than anybody that exists. Probably 400 or 500 posts a day are going out across the whole thing, which means that we have to continuously look at everything, good, bad, or indifferent. We're seeing a lot of bad, a lot of negativity. I remember in the beginning when it was just me only, and I was doing all this, going through all this stuff and trying to get this information out to everybody. It was beginning to affect me, right, emotionally. And I was taking in all this dark energy and having to siphon through what I was going to put out to the world, what I was going to delete. But what I was going to delete consciously and thinking I'm deleting it, my cells, my body, everything stored all that information. And it was beginning to make me feel sick. And then I began to realize that I am taking in this information and I'm holding on to it. I have to realize that when it comes in, what part of it is beginning to hurt me? It's the part that I'm actually focusing and thinking about it and believing in it and letting it get into my body. Now I have a filter in place to where I can look at stuff like that. And yes, my body is still going to take it. My body's still going to remember it. But I separate myself from the thoughts that started to begin to torture you, which is what the pain is, right? And I realize that I'm not my thoughts. I'm the observer of my thoughts.
Right.
When I separate from the thoughts and I tell my thoughts, hey, this is what I want to happen, and then I'm in control again, and then push it away. Well, another thing is also balance, understanding that once you see a loop or a cycle like that beginning to happen, you have to break the loop. And the only way to break a loop, like, for example, seeing so much negativity on your feed, or every time you turn on the TV, it's coming up negative, and everywhere you go, you got to change your environment, change your situation. If it's your internet feed, change the feeds that you're on. Go to positivity, go to love, go to harmony, go to music, go to something else that's vibing on a high frequency, and then pick up a new algorithm. If it's TV, stop watching TV, change the channel, watch different things. Start looking up things like, things that make you happy, the love movies or whatever. Get away from the killing and the abuse and everything else that's going on. Where if it's places that you're seeing on the street, don't take those roads anymore. Find different routes. It's about changing your environment and changing the algorithm, because algorithms, people think that Instagram invented an algorithm. No. The algorithm isn't throughout the entire multiverse. All they did was copy what already exists and put it into a software program. They look like geniuses because they figured out what's going on out here through the law of attraction and put it into this device. So we have to figure out, like, oh man, we have to change the algorithm by changing the way we act and changing our perceptions and who we interact and how we interact with.
No, definitely. You hit it on the nail, Billy. Definitely got it. Yeah. Like I said in the last show, there's a filter system we have called the reticular activating system, and Dr. B is going to touch on that at the workshop. And that system is pretty much what Instagram and them is emulating, where what you focus on, you just get more and more and more of it. So yeah, that's gonna Dr. B is gonna touch on that. I want to give a shout out to everybody who already purchased tickets. We're gonna take when we hit 2,000, we got on 1,971 people in here. When we hit 2,000, I'm gonna make an announcement when we hit 2,000 people. But I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody who purchased tickets to the Blueprint for God Power Part 2. It's like a community, and I've gotten so many emails and I've gotten so many calls, and so many people have hit me up on YouTube saying how much they have enjoyed the 7 sacred prayers. And it's a movement. This Blueprint for God Power is truly a movement, and I want to thank everybody who has been a part of it so far. How many of y'all have got your tickets? I'm just wondering before, because I'm about to make an announcement. How many of y'all have gotten your tickets so far? If you've gotten your ticket to Blueprint for God Power 2, put up a 1 in the chat. I want to know. Somebody said y'all always trying to sell something. No, 90% of my content, probably about 95% of my content is free. So I'm going to have to block you for being a liar, because Brother Rich has 95% of Brother Rich's content is free. So no, that is not the case. You just
working every night of the week on this channel.
You know what I'm saying? Every night of the week, 5 hours, 2 hours. But this is what happens, Billy. One person says that, then people believe. No, 95% of my content is free. Don't get mad when Brother Rich has a service. Everybody in the world should have a business. Their family should have a certain business, a product, or a service. That's how we got to move in the future, family. So don't get offended when Brother Rich has a product or a service.
These classes that we're teaching should be the same price as universities. Luckily, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
$100 here, $100 there, whatever it is. These universities are charging $30,000, $40,000 to teach you lies.
Yeah, no, truly. I mean, truly. It's and I could go on, but I'm not going to go on. But also, I see the ones in here. Okay, shout out to everybody who appreciates what we do and don't mind supporting people who are putting together amazing services and products. It's not easy. Let me tell your family, it's not easy being melanated and being in a metaphysical community. You get a lot of criticism. I get a lot of criticism. I get a lot of flack. People say I'm a pseudo. People continuously tell me I'm wasting my time. I need to focus on police brutality, and I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong if you want to focus on that or racism and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I've been told so much in my life that I'm an escapist. I'm concentrating on things that I don't need to be focused on. And then I look at other communities and they're so appreciated for what they do with their metaphysical movement. And you just say to yourself, God damn, it's a tough job teaching these Negroes bringing this information to these people, man. But I'm built for this, and this is my mission. So it's not like I'm in this for a lifetime. You'll see people come and go. They'll be around for 5 years. I'm the forever God. After this, I'm the forever God, y'all. I'm gonna be into this forever in some way, form, or fashion. So I'm built for every second of this journey that I'm on. And sometimes it bothers me, yes, but it is what it is. But it's very rewarding every time somebody appreciates what myself or Billy's doing. But
absolutely,
I see them ones up. Yeah, go ahead, Billy.
There's a lot of ones in there. And Rich, I want to donate something to your listeners. And you can figure out how you want to give them away. But I'm gonna gift you two. You see how big they are, right?
Woo!
Two Egyptian books of the dead, brand new in plastic, unopened, sealed. Two, all right. And these are the ones with the papyrus of Ani inside of them.
Yes.
So these come with the papyrus of Ani. And so I'm going to gift these to you that you can figure out how you want to give these away to the people on your network, the people that are watching. You may have to think about how you want to do it. But you got two full-size, fully wrapped, untouched Egyptian books of the dead, which is really the Egyptian book of going forth by day, with the papyrus of Ani in each one. So those two you can give away.
You know what? I could pick two because we're past the 2,000 mark. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We got some giveaways we about to do for y'all. So pay close attention. Billy's giving away 2 books. So what I'm going to do real quick for that giveaway, since it's just 2 books, I'm just going to look at the chat. I know the names in the chats of people that are here constantly. I know the names of the people that have been here for years. I know the names of the people that constantly are motivational and write inspiring things that keep me going when I'm tired and I feel like, not coming on the very next day. So I'm going to pick 2 people right now from the chat, and I just want y'all to send me an email, and I'm going to send it out to y'all. So the first person that I just see your name. Where you at? Ascending Infinite Goddess. You know you got it. Ascending Infinite Goddess, hit me up on the email. She just sent me a $15 donation. I appreciate it. She was at the awards, Billy. This sister was at the awards. Yeah,
I met her. Yeah, I think I met her. Yeah,
her and her family was at the awards. Shout out to that sister. Ascending Infinite Goddess. Email me at richardmerritt@yahoo. I'm gonna write it in the chat. But you're constantly supporting, and I appreciate it, and I recognize it. So I just emailed, and there was one more name. Where's it at? Where's this? Where's it at? Where's it at? Give me 1 second, y'all. Damn it.
Once you
Okay.
get their addresses, just send them over to me, and I'll send them out.
Indeed.
And send you tracking numbers.
Afrogoddess 777. This is another sister that I constantly see your name. I need you to shoot me an email so I can give your information to Billy, and Billy will send it out. So Afrogoddess 777 and Ascending Infinite Goddess. Y'all got the 2 books. Once again, email me that fast. Email me at Richard Merritt. I'm gonna put my email again at yahoo.com. You email me there, and I'm gonna send that out to both of y'all. All right. So now we got to take a quick moment. I'm giving out 2 tickets for free. 2 tickets for free tonight to the Blueprint. Well, not for free. The 2 tickets have been donated. So shout out to the individual. They want to remain anonymous. They actually sent 3, but I'm doing 2 tonight, and I'm gonna do the other one when Dr. B is on the show next week. But I'm giving out 2 tickets tonight. So I got a question for y'all, and the whoever writes it first in the chat, that's who I'm going to send it to. That's who I'm going to give it to. So y'all better be fast with the typing. Y'all better be real fast. Y'all better be real fast. So first, well, let me get rid of this. First question, and this is an easy one, so be fast. What does Billy Carson constantly say? Billy, there's an echo on your end. Is there some? You got something turned up? No. Is that's. Let me turn this down then.
Okay.
Billy Carson says that, and I hope I'm saying it right. Oh, Afrogoddess, you're gonna be on Stone Mountain. Good. I see you there. Afrogoddess. Yeah, Afrogoddess. I'm giving out 2. Billy Carson says that this blank is the elixir of the gods. Did I say that right, Billy? And you use it, and Billy uses it. Whoever's the first one to write it? You can't lie because the chat is right here. What does Billy say is the elixir of the gods, and Billy uses it? First question. Whoever gets it, I'm looking. You got to get the whole thing. Y'all got to get the whole thing. I don't. All right. All right. All right. So let me see. I know some of y'all gonna be mad, but I'm gonna have to see. Some of y'all said the gold, but it's the gold and the silver, right, Billy?
Yeah, it's the gold and the silver together.
So I'm gonna have to give it to the person who wrote gold and silver. So I'm gonna see who wrote that first. Let's see. A lot of y'all just said gold. Some of y'all said silver, but it's gold and silver. Might be this person here. Let me see. I think it's no, it might be you. Okay. No, eating that. Damn, a lot of y'all. Yeah, this was an easy one. A lot of y'all was right. God damn, y'all got me scrolling like a mug. Yeah, give me a second, y'all, because y'all. Whew, man. As soon as I think somebody got it, I'm keep scrolling in. All right. I think I seen the person who got it. Yeah. All right. So I got the winner for this question. The person who wrote gold and silver first, Jasmine Ramsey.
Congratulations,
Jasmine Ramsey. I need you to email me, and I have a way of confirming it's you. Jasmine Ramsey, email me at richardmerritt@yahoo.com. You have won a ticket to Blueprint for GodPower 2. First person to put monatomic gold and colloidal silver. Some people just said gold. Some people said silver. Billy talks about this a lot. Billy has the 2 of them, and he uses both of them. And he constantly says that the both of them are the elixir. He calls it the elixir. So shout out to Jasmine Ramsey. Once again, my email, RICHINMERIT@yahoo.com. Email me, Jasmine, and you got yourself a ticket. Okay? All right.
Congratulations. You got it.
Yeah, congratulations, Jasmine. I guess I'll give out another one before we end the show. We got about 20 minutes. I want to get some questions from the people. If you have any questions about this amazing topic we're discussing tonight, hemispheric synchronization, the CIA gateway papers, or anything we're discussing tonight, you can put that in the chat. But amazing conversation with me and Billy. We're getting ready for the Blueprint for God Power 2 workshop. We're excited. I mean, it's packed with information. So yeah. Somebody said, where can we purchase that? Billy's site. Billy got the what's your site, Billy?
Yeah, forbiddenknowledge.com. Been selling it for quite a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
Over 100,000 happy customers. Over 100,000 happy customers.
Woo.
5-star rating on the Better Business Bureau. I don't know if you know how hard that is to do with a 5-star rating. 469, I think, 5-star reviews. Very hard to do. Yeah.
Very hard to do. Wow, that's an amazing achievement. Let's get to a few questions. Let's see. Somebody wants to know any opinion on the Jose Silva ESP program.
Jose Silva's ESP program. I've heard about Jose Silva, but to be quite honest with you, I never had a reason to dig into his ESP program, just because, not because I have anything bad or good to say about it. I just know that it exists, but I didn't have any real reason to spend energy and time looking into it. But you can go to the Remote Viewing Institute. You'll learn probably most likely a lot of the same exact techniques. You can learn that information there. You can also go to Forbidden Knowledge TV, where we did an entire remote viewing workshop years ago. You can find that on there as well. I think it was like 6 hours. But there's so I spend a lot of time on my own stuff mostly, but I am aware of it. I just haven't dug into it.
I like this question here. Where is it at? Billy Carson, if you weren't teaching this information and sharing it, how would you use it practically to impact the world otherwise?
How would I use the information to impact the world?
Yes.
There's a lot of different ways you can use information and knowledge to impact the world. So the one way is, finding ways to help impoverished peoples. I've been around the world a lot, and I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of information in my brain on how to fix a lot of the world's problems. And so I would use a lot of my ability to help with influence in different areas of government in some of these third world countries. And I would implement different projects and programs in some of these countries to help people. You can only help them to a specific or certain level, because if you help them too much, the government will get mad at you, believe it or not. They'll let you do a little bit, but not a whole lot. Another thing I would do is, which is something I'm actually getting ready to do, is to relaunch my tech company. And we're going to be developing technologies that can help people all around the world, but we're doing it through a DIY. We're doing it through open source. And so instead of going for patents for my inventions that I have actual inventions. Instead of going for patents, we're going to open source that information and knowledge and give it free to the world and let people take that information and utilize it and create the projects for themselves. And that's a huge way of impacting the world. And I'm not the first person to think like this. I mean, people do it all the time. Like Elon Musk, he didn't patent that battery, the Tesla battery. He made it open source so that he can develop a whole industry of electric cars. And so that's how come everybody's got electric cars, because he open sourced it, right? And so it's the same concept, except I'm going to release technologies that can help change the world. And people will be able to get the blueprint for God Power, which is the blueprints I'm releasing, and tap into their own God Power by creating these inventions based on my blueprints that actually work, and duplicating them and utilizing them wherever they are in the world.
Yo, Billy, everything I learned, because like I said, people don't know how much we're students. Like Dr. B was literally studying Billy for Blueprint Part 1 like y'all was. So, if Billy was like studying Dr. B, vice versa, like we're really students at this thing. And we have a love for it just like everybody else. One of the things I'm going to do, Billy, with this one that you're teaching it a lot, like Dr. B's talking about how to build mental idioms, and you dealing with the multi-dimensional meditation and the hemisync and all of this stuff. I'm gonna use every bit of this information to be one of the most successful music producers in the world. Every bit of this information that I'm gonna study this like a nerd in a library, and I'm gonna use every bit of it, y'all. And y'all could I could be an example. Let's see where I'm at musically 3 years from now, 2 years from now, a year from now. But I'm gonna use every bit of blueprint. That's what I'm personally using it for. I'm gonna be one of the most successful music producers in the world.
Wow.
So
I feel it, man.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it, y'all. And I know I got my intention. I know what I specifically. There's several things, but I got a target. Like you said, with remote viewing, you need a target. I got a target, Billy. So I want all y'all to have a target, and we gotta, we can't do it for y'all. Y'all be like, how is this going to help me? We don't know how it's going to help you. I don't know what you're interested in. I don't know what your strength is. I don't know what your weakness is. I don't know what you're good at. Only you know that. But we can present the information. You got to tap into it. You got to do the rest of the work. So this is going to be phenomenal, family. Like I said, this is literally the best workshop Brother Rich has ever put together. And I don't say that with every workshop. This one right here with the 7 sacred prayers, we got a meditation album. Dr. B is finishing up. He just finished up. He's editing immersive sound bath. He's giving everybody a sound bath. I mean, Dr. B got bowls and stuff like that. He got all types of stuff. Man, we going all out. We're giving you the CIA gateway papers. Oh, and I'm also giving everybody the instrumental to the 7 sacred prayers, so y'all could write your own sacred prayer, record it,
and we're gonna fly 3 people out.
And we're Billy, do you? I wish they knew what they getting in this workshop.
Yeah,
I wish they knew what they were getting.
It's a lot.
That's a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
that's twice.
Gurus would charge $5,000 for they would make it into a retreat and charge $5,000. Like Joe Dispenza, he charges between $5,000 to $10,000 just to show up, and and he said makes you sit down and meditate for 6 hours.
I mean, and if anybody who wants to engage in that, that's fine. Yeah, I love Joe Dispenza's work. I absolutely love his work.
You can pay that kind of money, or you can come on this 10-hour workshop with us and go on a journey that's going to give you so much knowledge and compact it in so much in those hours, and you can replay it over and over. When you go to some of these retreats, after you leave there, you only got to take your memories. You got to hope you can remember and hold on to what you had, because that's all you're going to have. But with this, you can watch it over and over and over again, and it didn't cost you $5,000 to $10,000.
But you know what's the funny part, Billy? I don't know if it's funny. I don't know what it is. The people that somebody says sometimes $50K. Yeah, these prices for these retreats and for these, I mean, you got like what's the name? Tony Robbins. Go to a Tony Robbins event. Woo! Yeah. Man, you paying top dollar. And I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm not hating on Tony Robbins.
He's worth it. He's worth it. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm letting y'all know, like,
we're just showing you the price comparison.
Yeah, but
so Tony when people Robbins, be like, man, I can't, this is too expensive. Not really. Not really.
Tony Robbins is great at what he does. I absolutely love Joe Dispenza's work. I mentioned Greg Braden to y'all. I love his work.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I love Bruce Lipton's work. There's a lot of these individuals who the prices is high, but they're definitely worth it. So shout out to every single one of them. Right? Shout out to every single one of them and what they're doing. What I want to ask you, I was going to say, son, I done forgot what I was about to say now, Billy. I done forgot what I was about to say. It'll come to me. Let me let's get to another question. Let's get to another question. Because I see some good questions, but we started talking. Get so excited, you just started talking. Are uploading the 7 sacred prayers on the chat? No, that's bonus content for those who bought tickets for the Blueprint for GodPower 2. That's bonus content. That's strictly for people. We have a lot of bonus content with this workshop. And that's one of them. We have, like I said, we got a meditation album, but that's strictly for the people that bought the workshop. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that workshop is so serious. Somebody said Richard that bowl, right? Yeah, oh man. Let's get to a question, because this is I'm having fun on this show, y'all. Let's get to a question. Somebody said, is post-traumatic growth something that can be taught? That's interesting.
You know, that's interesting. I believe it is. Not that it can be taught like I'm teaching you how to use a saw and a, you know, and a piece of wood to like build a chair or a table, but it can be taught as if you're listening to what I went through and you're seeing how I handled every situation. You're seeing me down, but you're also then seeing me how I rise up, and you see me how I combat what was against me and how I defeat it and how I move on and how I most importantly learn from it. And that can give a person the ability for self-reflection, because they can relate to similar situations between me and them and say to themselves, well, if he can do that and this, that's something similar to what I'm going through. So if he can do that, I can do it too. And so all of a sudden, PTG, post-traumatic growth, becomes like a conscious virus that moves in a positive direction, and you can actually transfer it from person to person. So by that method, you can actually really teach it to other people by showing and leading by example and showing them that they can overcome these trials and tribulations in their lives.
Indeed, indeed. Let's get to the next question. Somebody wants to know, what is the difference between remote viewing and astral projection?
That's a good question too. So astral projection is more about taking the actual energetic spirit body and removing it or leaving out of this physical corporeal body. So you're separating the spiritual body, the light being, from the corporeal being completely, and leaving the avatar body completely dead wherever it is. Now it's still functioning on basic respiration and so forth like that, because we have the premature, what do you call it? They call it the reptilian brain in the back of the skull that keeps your heart pumping and keeps your diaphragm breathing and so forth and so on, right? Basic functions, blood still circulating. But the spirit body that actually really animates it has left the body to travel. So that's one way. Now that's astral travel. Now, remote viewing, you never actually separate the spirit from the avatar body. You send mind out. You're only sending the mind. You're not sending the spirit body along with the mind. So you're still in the physical body because you need to be in the physical body, because you have to animate it by doing what? You got to write down notes. Oh, I'm sensing. I'll give you a story, right? So I was previously engaged. This is a long time ago, years and years ago. And the young lady went out to a bar one night with her friends, and she thought she lost the ring in the bathroom at the bar. And we searched, we went crazy looking for this ring, went to the bar. The bar said no, nobody turned it in. She thought she took it off to wash her hands and left it on the sink. And I said, well, I only have one last resort, remote viewing. Maybe we can figure out who has it or where it's at least what vicinity. So I went to the remote viewing method, right? And so I'm in now in the body, but sending the mind out. The target is the ring. And the first thing I start doing, I start drawing this box. So you see, I have to maintain connection with the body, which is why I'm not astral projecting. I'm remote viewing, because I have to be able to draw the notes. I'm getting a box shape. I'm seeing lines. I'm starting to write down things like moist, wet, smells moist and wet, and all these different types of things I'm writing down. Wood, right? And the next thing you know, I drew what looked like a dresser. This is about maybe, I don't know, now this is like 10 years ago. And so I'm like, a dresser. So there's a dresser in the bedroom. So I go to the dresser. I'm taking all the drawers out and emptying everything out the drawers. Still don't see it. I just said, you know what? Let me just move the dresser. I moved the dresser away from the wall. The ring was right behind the dresser on the floor. You see? Saved $20,000. But yeah, so but again, that's an example to show you that you have, in remote viewing, you have to be connected to the body. You can't leave the body, because you have to literally write down the sensory perceptions, the smell, what you feel like you're seeing, the information you're getting back, the emotions have even been written down, and all of that. So you have to stay connected to the body.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Next question, Billy, is how powerful would it be if we did a mass meditation like this to quantum jump to our highest timelines for our greatest benefit?
Oh man, that would be massive. Listen, I remember I did a mass meditation for police brutality. That was a few years ago. And during that mass meditation, we tracked what the police brutality rate was before the meditation, and then we tracked it after the meditation. And we saw that there was a percentage drop in police brutality from this mass meditation. I think we had 9,000 people in that meditation. Okay. Think about that. So if just only 9,000 people can directly affect the level of police brutality, and what was our meditation? Our meditation was not to stop police brutality. Our meditation was to send love and high frequency energy to police officers worldwide. That's what we were doing. We were actually tapping into the heart chakra and sending love frequencies and positive and clear mind frequencies to officers. Not saying stop, we want to meditate to stop police brutality, which would have done absolutely nothing. But we were sending frequencies, you see? And doing that in a group, on a mass scale like that, with only 9,000 people, was able to drop the percentage by a few decimal points. Can you imagine if we had 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 1 billion, 2 billion people? What if half of the planet itself, 4 billion will be half of 8, 4 billion people meditating and focusing high energy frequencies with the hemisync tech that we're going to be teaching in the blueprint for GodPower on one particular thing? We can change the entire multiverse. We can affect every universe in the entire multiverse if we have that many people focusing on one specific thing with a high frequency, high energy. So it's powerful. But one day that's actually going to happen, and that's how we're going to take back control of this planet.
Amazing. Once again, the link to Blueprint for God Power 2 is pinned at the top of the chat. Is going down. What day is this? I keep mixing the day. The 29th. Yeah.
I believe it's
October 29th.
October 29th. Yeah. It's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, October 29th is coming up. We're getting closer and closer. And it's going to be phenomenal, y'all. Like I said, this is the greatest thing I have ever put together. And I'm quite proud and I'm excited. And I just told y'all what I'm going to be using it for specifically. And it's going to benefit me. Depending on your mindset going in there, it's going to depend on your results you're going to get. So go in there with a good, open mind, great, positive mindset. And family, I guarantee you phenomenal results. I can guarantee everybody that if you approach it with that mindset.
Yeah.
Let's get to, we're going to do about 3 more questions and then we're going to get out of here. They want to know, can you do remote viewing outside of this planet, Billy?
You can remote view into another universe. So remote viewing has no limits whatsoever. There is absolutely 0 limits to remote viewing. You can remote view to the future, the past. You can remote view to other dimensions. You can remote view even into another universe. So there's no limits. And I saw somebody ask, is it dangerous? No, it's not dangerous. You never leave your body. You can't get lost out there leaving your body. There's nothing that can come and infect you or hurt you or injure you. You're literally tapping into the energy field. See, what remote viewing is, when you say that, let's say I'm saying I'm remote viewing something on Mars, right? Well, from Earth, we know that Mars is several 100 million miles away, right? And so we're thinking, oh man, it's a far distance. I'm sending my mind all the way to Mars. Not really. If you look at quantum physics, you realize that distance is an illusion. So my mind really hasn't farther traveled whatsoever because distance and separation doesn't even exist. And so I can tap into that information and see what I'm going to see and bring back that intel that I'm going to bring back instantly because of quantum entanglement and the fact that we're all linked or sitting in this energetic grid that's all completely connected.
Indeed. Definitely, indeed. Shout out to Misunderstood. Got her ticket. Shout out to you. Appreciate you getting your ticket. There was one question that I want to ask that I can't find right now. So I guess I'm going to move on. Somebody wants to know, are there books in the Vatican that could be accessed in remote viewing? Have you accessed any of that knowledge?
That's a real good question. If I told you, I wouldn't be able to tell you. You know, that's real. You can get information from anywhere. I'll tell you that. You can get information from literally anywhere, which is why the CIA did it. They would get into rooms, they would get into areas where other governments had, top secret documents, and they would bring back intel from those top secret documents. So if they can do that, the Vatican archive is a piece of cake.
Piece of cake. You heard him? But he said it's a piece of cake. Do you, with your business, personally business, you see how the CIA and the government uses, like, I think Dolores Cannon, Dolores Cannon, right? She said one time, I think she said one time that they, some police somebody utilized her services to help catch a criminal. Do you ever utilize the services? Do you ever utilize psychics to make certain business moves, Billy?
I use my own psychic abilities to make business moves. I'm pretty good on the stock exchange, for example. Elizabeth is my witness. If she was here, she'd tell you some of the stuff she saw me do. I go off of these. I don't know what to call it. I call it remote viewing. She thinks it might be something even else. I don't know, but that's what I call it. But I'll get on at 9:30 a.m. and by 10:30, 11, I made 15, 20, sometimes 50, 60,000, depending on the day. Depending on how much I want to put in and move, right? I'll day trade options, which I did a whole stock options.
Yeah, we did the class. We did the class.
TV. You remember? Yeah, you remember the class, right?
Yeah.
But so I'll day trade options and I'll do options calls. But my instincts, or whatever you want to call them, are so good. I can see the trade before the trade even comes, and I know what trade to make. She goes, I'll tell her the trade that needs to be done today before any information about the trade comes out. And she's like, how do you know this? And I go, I just know it. And then, she's seen me sit there and make 60, 70,000. I mean, one time I made over 100,000. I said, I called her up and said, I'm just going to go. I need to go buy a new Rolls Royce.
Wow.
And trade the other one in, which is exactly what I did too. I put that money down on a new car. But I've done it so many times, and I can make, 30, 40, 50 grand, a day. If I really did only that, I can make 100 grand a day if I didn't do all this other stuff. But I only like to stay on for about an hour a day. Anything more than an hour, I'm too busy. I just drop it. I take my money and I walk away and I go, wait for the next day. But I am using these techniques to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely that's amazing. I remember the stock options class, and it helped a lot of people. It helped me. I had a friend that got it, helped him out a lot. That was a very beneficial class right there. Very beneficial class.
Yeah. A lot of people were commenting, I just follow Billy's trades and we making money. I mean, there's people still posted in their group today, like, I'm still making money. That's great to see, man. I love it. When you read the comments underneath the class on the video, because the video is still playing for the people who bought tickets. And it's just like the comments. I think it's in the hundreds of comments now. It's great to see so many people made money. I feel like we really helped a lot of people make some side income to take care of their families,
Oh yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's get to the next question. Somebody wants to know, how can you use quantum doppelganger to change financial instability? We touched on that the last show. And if you come to this workshop, you will learn about tapping into your quantum doppelganger. Yeah, but we touched on that. We had a whole show dealing with quantum doppelganger.
The whole show was about it. But yeah, I'm going to show you through this technique how you can tap into your quantum doppelganger, how you can find the one that would be the best, what you would consider to be the best version of you in whatever field you're looking to be the best at. If it's financial success and financial literacy, we're going to show you how to tap into that and then monitor and observe, becoming, again, the observer, which is the key thing in the universe. It's all about observation. So becoming the observer and taking notes and taking back that secret knowledge from a whole nother life, which is still your life, a different aspect of you, what they call a superposition in quantum physics, right? A group of potentials, and then collapsing that potential into one significant real reality tunnel and utilizing those techniques here in this realm where you are right now and making significant changes. The thing about using this technique that I'm going to teach, and I can't emphasize this enough, you're going to get a lot of knowledge. I'm going to teach you how to capture intel or knowledge. But once you capture the knowledge, it means nothing unless you act on it.
Yeah, right.
It means nothing unless you act on it.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can't say how excited I am participate in this multi-dimensional meditation, the hemisync. I think that this is the hemisync. I think that that's one of the missing pieces. Me and Dr. B have done shows on cymatics, and when you start merging, and like I said, the only person I heard really talk about this hemisync thing was Dr. Phil Valentine, and A.A. Rashid talked about it briefly, y'all. But this is not a very popular topic in the YouTube arena like that. It's becoming more and more popular. But but it's very important. I will say it's very, very, very important. And Billy's the perfect brother to teach us this. So I'm excited and I can't wait. Oh, Afrogoddess 777 say you chose 2 Pisces goddesses for your gift, brother Rich. That's what's up. Okay, yeah. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Man.
That's beautiful.
I didn't even know that. We're gonna take one more question, then we're gonna get out of here. Amazing, amazing show tonight. I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. Let's get to one more question. Let's see. Yeah, let me. I want to repeat this. Yeah, Cosmic Royalty said, "Do you all realize we on some whole nother level from the rest of the world?" I don't know if they realize that. I just feel like we on some y'all, we just gotta apply it every day. And the thing is, you have to know thyself, because this information gets applied to each one of us in a slightly different way, because we all have different psychologies and personalities. So certain things works for me that doesn't work for Billy, that doesn't work for this person, that doesn't work for that person. It's different for all of us. So y'all I really want y'all to get that. The information is there. Y'all just got to learn how it's going to work for you in particular. And the only way you do that is to spend time with yourself. Know thyself. Understand who you are. Stop lying to yourself. Figure out who you are. Solitude, y'all. This shit is ours, man. But I'm glad you wrote that, Cosmic Royalty. This is
that's real.
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, I mean, so many people are out here right now, hanging out, getting drunk, getting high, partying, clubbing. There's nothing wrong with having a good time. Don't get me wrong. Everything within balance. But right now, instead of doing those things, the people on this live are sacrificing that level of enjoyment for a whole nother galactic, super galactic level of enjoyment, which can last for lifetimes.
Indeed. I mean, there was one thing. I felt like this was a test in life, Billy, when I was real young, and I'm 21. And there's one thing that I kept hearing people say to me repeatedly, and it was almost like the test to see if I fold or not, or to see if I was true to this information. But people kept coming up to me they would be like, in New York, we congregate around street vendors and on the street, and we talk barbershops. And one of the things people would, from time to time, always say to me, "Man, what is that information going to do for you, man? What is that shit going to do, man? What's that?" And in my mind, I didn't know how to articulate it fully, but in my heart, I was like, yo, I just really enjoy this information. It resonates with me. It doesn't have to make me $1 million. It doesn't have to make me the smartest guru. I have a genuine love for this information, and I never gave up on it. And God damn it, I'm glad I did, man. Woo! I'm glad I didn't fall for that, because people, what that's gonna do for you? The black brothers talk to you, Billy. What that's gonna do for you, brother? That ain't gonna do shit for you, brother. And you be like, damn, I'm sorry, you right. Let me put this book down, man. Let me put this moving through parallel worlds book down. This ain't gonna do shit for me. And you just give up. You in your 20s, so you can, But nah, I ain't fall for that shit, Billy. I ain't fall for it, man. Nah, good, man. I passed the test. I passed the test, Billy.
You did, bro. You passed the test a few times, because I remember when you first started talking with me or looking for me to come on your show, and you started talking about maybe doing workshops or classes with me. People were coming at you left and right. Don't do any business with him, and blah 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 blah. And obviously, you didn't. What I love about you, man, you don't listen to the outside chatter. You make your own educated decisions. Absolutely. You are in control of your own life, your own reality, and that's why I got so much respect for you.
Billy, if my ship sink, it's gonna be because of me, not because of nobody else.
Boom.
Whatever happens and I can live with that. If whatever happens in my life, as long as it happens to me and I made the conscious decision, I can live with it. But if something happens to me and I listen to this person or that person and I was persuaded or manipulated, oh man, I can't. I'm gonna be so angry. I'm gonna be frustrated, mad, upset. But yeah, I follow my heart, my intuition,
Yeah.
and Billy's one of the greatest souls I met in this community.
Oh, thank you, man.
One of the greatest spirits that I've met, and I wouldn't if I didn't listen to my intuition, I wouldn't have known that. But I've had being in this thing, being at any level of business, y'all, it's very, 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 very hard to trust somebody. People you've known for years will backstab you when it comes to business. Your mama will stab you when it comes to business. You hear me? Your mama. So when you meet somebody that is trustworthy in business and is willing to and you could just kick it with, personally about a lot of topics, man, it's just a pleasure, man. And I'm glad that I follow my intuition and my heart. Really glad I do.
Yeah.
One
Me
more
too.
question.
Me too. I'm glad.
Yeah, man. One more question. We done made history together, Billy.
I know, literally.
literally.
Wow.
We ain't done yet, man. No.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two Virgos holding it down, y'all. Two Virgos holding it down.
You already know.
Virgos ruled by Mercury. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Dolph has a heavy influence on Virgos.
Heavy influence on Virgos. Another thing you got to realize about Virgos is we're laser focused, man. We're laser focused. We don't listen to the peer pressure and all that stuff. We're laser focused, and we're already this is why I say when people say they see me and I'm left-handed. I'm a left-handed Virgo. So I tell them, look, I'm the only one in my right mind because I'm using my right hemisphere.
Right. Powerful, man. Let's let's get to one more question.
Yeah, then I got to get to the missus.
Yeah. We're gonna hurry up, Billy. I just want to somebody asked the website to get tickets. It's pinned at the top of the chat and it's also in the description. If you want the website to get tickets, let's get to this one question and then we're gonna get out of here. Billy, how do you escape forced reincarnation, Billy? They don't want to come back here no more.
They don't want to come back no more.
No.
You have to realize that this density is a testing ground for your spirit, for your energy, right? And so what it appears to be to me is we're living in a grand experiment. I don't like to use the word experiment. That's the best thing I can identify it as, a word that I can use to identify exactly what we're going through. This experiment was created by the universe itself to experience itself subjectively as Googles and Googles of entities throughout the entire multiverse. To see what it is to feel like Billy, Richard, to see what it is to be an atom inside this cell phone, to see what it is to be a blade of grass or even a rock. And energy consistently recycles and maneuvers through these energetic fields and these dimensions consistently through eternity. And so what it seems like, though, is there is this reincarnation factor to come back as a sentient being, not only on Earth, but even maybe on other planets as well, until a person begins to learn specific lessons and continues to grow spiritually until they get to a point in which they don't reincarnate in this density anymore. Thoth talks about it in my book, The Emerald Tablets, right? The compendium of the Emerald Tablets. It's all this stuff is in here. He talks about the fact that when you get to the highest level and become an ascended master, you can consciously incarnate at will. He says he has developed the ability to incarnate at will. He says also on and in the plane he desires. What is the plane? Dimensions. He can even travel into other dimensions and incarnate whenever he's ready to. And so that's the level. He tells us that's the level we should be aspiring to. So it's all about a journey. Now, there's people on this planet right now today that we all know. It could be a kid that's 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 years old that's ancient. And even that kid's mother or grandmother could be 50, 60, 70. They could be newborn babies spiritually. So there's people walking around that you think are kids or young people, young adults. They're ancient. And there's people walking around that are old that are newborns. And so this is the system that we're in right now, as there's this incarnation process of energy coming back and reincarnating over and over again. But there's a point where specific individuals become what they call ascended masters, like Yeshua and many others, where you reach that level where you learn how to incarnate at will on and in the plane you desire, according to Thoth, the ancient ruler of the land of Kemet for 16,000 years.
Long time, Billy. 16,000 years. Long time.
Yeah.
Hey, family, once again, with that being said, if you are not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe so you get notified for future videos. Great videos like this are uploaded on a daily basis. Like I said earlier, family, y'all get 90%, 90 or something percent of my content is for free on YouTube. This blueprint for GodPower 2. Don't be shy to support Brother Rich and what he's doing. Make sure you'll purchase this workshop and participate. It's going to be life-changing. It's not going to change your life. It's going to change my life as well. We're putting it all. We're putting everything into this one. Myself, Billy Carson, Dr. B Serious. We're giving it all on this one. I'm very proud. It's the best, my best work to date, the best workshop I have put together to date. The link is in the description. It is also pinned at the top of the chat. Exciting time to be alive. Billy Carson, before we get out of here, tell the people your contact info or anything you want to tell them about, anything you got coming up, my brother.
Well, just go to forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4. We had the 2023 Egypt tour, the Forbidden Tour of Egypt, which was completely sold out for months now. But we do have 2024 open. So we're going to go back again with another 70 people in 2024. People have been begging, when are you going to start taking registrations for 2024? Well, we just opened it today. You can go to forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4. But you better hurry because 2024 is probably going to sell out in a few weeks. I think there's 20 people already signed up just today when we opened it a few hours ago. We only have 70 rooms available, 70 rooms on the ship, 70 rooms. 70 people available to get on the 2 tour buses, and we don't want you jogging behind the bus. So that's it. 70 is the max. But again, go to forbiddenknowledge.com if you want to register for the Forbidden Tour of Egypt. It's a VIP tour. I'm your tour guide, and I take you to sites. It's completely VIP. When we arrive at a destination like the Great Pyramid, all the tourists are cleared out by the military because it's forbidden time. We do things that they can't do. We go under the pyramids, inside the pyramids. We go under the Sphinx. We go into the Sphinx's paws. We do all this stuff that nobody else can do. We do. And so that's why it's called the Forbidden Tour of Egypt.
Super quick question, Billy. You don't have to take more than 30 seconds to answer it.
Yeah.
What does Dolph say about being buried versus being cremated, brother?
He doesn't really say anything about it, but he only talks about the fact that we're already eternal. So, for example, I mean, I'm just going to get myself cremated because there's no use in putting me in an expensive box and putting that in the ground because that's completely useless. My spirit has already been gone. The energy is already out of there. So he talks about the fact that, we're already eternal. We are already eternal. We've never been corporeal. We just temporarily are encapsulated in a corporeal body for a period of time, temporally, but us, the real us, is eternal.
Indeed. Thanks for answering that, Billy. Black Magic, Billy Carson, we sign out, family. See you next time. Peace, family.
Peace.